And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all for being here. Welcome. Top of the morning. Me and my guy, Bryan Broaddus here at the Doing All Right. Hope y'all are doing just fine. I love the engagement. Let me tell y'all what y'all goofy asses like to do. Bryan, yesterday I said, hey, man, if I missed any player, like in my draft history, if I've missed on somebody.
They went after you. They went after you in those comments.
This is my problem, Bryan. If one person says, hey, Voch, you was wrong about Kelvin Joseph, I'll go, I bet you right. That's fair. I'll even take 2 and 3 people saying, yo, Voch, you was wrong about Kelvin Joseph. Because now I got to assume that the three of y'all see each other.
I think you had 14 or 15.
29 people had to remind me that Kelvin Joseph, I wasn't wrong about Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph just don't work hard. Kelvin Joseph just he was plenty talented enough.
I confess he did it.
Yeah, right. He just don't work hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm just a guy with a camera and a mic.
I don't know nothing. But hey, you know, if Kelvin would have worked a little harder, maybe that would have been a W for me. But Bryan, just add that to my list. Go ahead.
By the way, thank you to everybody who's been hanging out with us really the whole year and now into this draft season. And you're right. The engagements were fun. It's like they reminded you of Kelvin Joseph, and then they asked a question.
Yeah.
You like, hey, what do you think about?
I forgot he even existed, bro. I forgot he even played for us. But hey, got to remember though, Bryan.
I appreciate the fans that have been with us here and take us in every night and watch us. It's the interaction. I honestly, I have such a good time doing this show because it keeps me going the right direction. Not only we're working with you and the conversations, but then the fans when they circle back. Yeah, when they make comments, and it kind of like, okay, I see where I'm hitting this. I see where I'm missing it. Yeah, I really do appreciate everybody out there that's been a part of our program. So thank you. And thank you to you for keeping me in line on this stuff as well.
Man, you already know, Bryan Broaddus. This is, I've been waiting my whole life to do this job. So don't even worry about it, Don't even worry about it. But man, Bryan, we got 3 players to watch tonight, man. We got,
we do.
Cobee Bryant, a cornerback from Kansas. We got Jared Wilson, because you wanted to see if we could find a center in this draft. We got him from Georgia. And then we got Barryn Sorrell, a edge pass rusher from Texas. Bryan, man, my favorite game this time of night, Bryan. What you think about it, Bryan? How you rank these guys for old Voch? I got 2 4s and a 5, Bryan.
2 4s and a 5. You put Bryant in the 4th. You put Wilson in the 5th, and you put Sorrell in the 4th.
That is right on time, Bryan. If you had to guess who I like more out of Cobee Bryant and Barryn Sorrell, who would you say?
I think you probably like Sorrell, the edge from Texas.
I am a huge fan of Sorrell. I like Cobee Bryant. He got a couple of warts on him, but we could talk about that in a minute. Yeah. And we will continue this journey to find a center that we can say positive things about, Bryan. I still haven't found one in Jared Wilson. Where would you like to start, Bryan Broaddus?
Why don't you go ahead and tell me all about that edge rusher Sorrell from Texas, if you would, please, sir.
Man, Bryan, the first thing I noticed, and I learned this from you, I'm looking for traits that I like, but I'm also looking for traits that the league likes, that these scouts in the NFL likes. They love length, Bryan Broaddus.
They do love length.
They love length. So if you see these guys kind of standing up and their hands go down to their calf muscles, Bryan, you go, all right, we got a little lengthy player right here. I first watched him in the Senior Bowl a couple of weeks ago, Bryan, and he was whooping everybody's ass in a one-on-one pass rush. I said, all right, cool. He was a stand-up outside linebacker-looking character, so I thought he was one of them slim-looking cats. He got some good little size to him, Bryan. He's what, 6'4", 260? 6'4", 260, likely. Like I said, some good length, but the more you watch Texas film, not only do they play on both sides, but they'll throw him in B-gap sometimes, Bryan, and they'll put him at the nose sometimes. I had to find him, so I did one of your little moves. All right, he's the long white sleeve and the bare arm. You know what I'm saying? I got to find him. You know what I'm saying? So they move him all over the formation, Bryan. And Bryan, let me tell you what. I thought when he was lined up inside, I didn't think he was a character that lacked power. I think that he was stout enough to kind of survive in those exchanges on the inside. When he was on the outside, of course he had power out there, but it seemed like he had a little burst on the edge, Bryan, paired with that length. Those long arms, he knows how to use them. He knows how to stack and shed and separate from these guys, contains the edge really well. I really like them as I'm going speed, power right down the middle of you, and he'll create some good pressure there. I think he played with some pretty good effort. I wouldn't call him one of these super motor guys because I like to reserve that for those motory dudes up top. But I think he played with some really good effort. And me walking in with the bias of understanding that he's a good pass rusher, I didn't hate him as a run defender, Bryan. I thought he was at the edge. At the edge, I thought he was a good run defender at the edge. Now at 3-tech, don't put him in 3-tech all day and ask him to run defend. But I thought in terms of maintaining the outside gap and containing and setting the edge, I thought he was good at some of those things, Bryan. I got him in the 4th, man. I like him. I don't think he's particularly elite at a lot of those things, but I think he's really good. He's really solid at a lot of those things. You know how we look at our guy that we looked at from Alabama, Q Robinson. We saw traits, but we didn't know what to do with him necessarily.
Right.
I look at Barryn Sorrell, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with him, Bryan Broaddus. So I'm a fan of him, and I got him in the 4th.
You got him around too low, my friend.
Okay.
You got him around too low.
I like that, Bryan. Talk your shit. Go ahead.
He's in that bendy group. He's in that bendy group of dudes. You know, he's better than our 4th round, he's better than our 4th round kind of play the run dudes. Yep. I think this guy's a legitimate pass rusher. Yeah. And he might be on that, you know, if we were grading on the, you know, the Cowboys scale, he might be a grade of a 139. That would put him in the bottom of the 3rd. It just put him, you know, because They give you don't pay attention to the 1 that just, you know, don't pay attention. It's just for number purposes. The 3 tells you the round. The 0 to 9 tells you how high you got him. So 130 would be on the top of the board, top of the 3rd round. A 139 would be on the bottom of the round. I think he's more of a 139. Yeah. You have him as like a 140, 141, something like that. So he's right there.
So he's at the very top of my 4s, Bryan.
There you go.
I don't hate what you're saying.
And I got him on the bottom. So yeah. I just think I'm trying to separate bendy dudes from like edge, you know, play the run dudes. Sure. Like I had to make a determination on my board when I was looking at him. And folks, trust me, when I get my board organized how I want it set, I'm going to put it up. I don't want to put something up and then it's always changing and you're confused by what Bryan thinks about this. But that's cool. I'm glad Voch is doing what he's doing because he's doing fine work with that. The thing about it is I started talking about him with some of these guys, like, you know, I had to put like Jackson, you know, from Arkansas. I was trying to say, wait a minute, I got bendy dude that plays the run. And I got Jackson potentially. You know, where's Jackson? Is Jackson a 3rd round guy? He's a 4th round guy. You know, he's kind of, I'm not really sure, you know, where he needs to be. I put him in the 4th. Jackson, we're talking about from Arkansas. I put Sorrell above him. Now, the thing I need to figure out, though, is, too, how high can I go? Because I really do like Sawyer in the 3rd round from Ohio State. But Sawyer, not a bendy dude, but I like the way he's kind of a complete player there. Now, a lot of the elite bendy dudes are all up in that 2nd round. We had the discussion, you know, yesterday, you know, about those kids. And so Sorrell, I didn't want to put him with the non-bendy dudes in the 4th. I felt like maybe in the 3rd, I wouldn't lose track of him up there. I think you nailed the player. Pretty well with the way that you described him. I will say this, though, about this kid.
Sure.
He is, like, you mentioned the length. It's on full display. I mean, he is a fire hands, locate ball, get rid of blocker, get to kind of a snap to whistle type of a player. I saw him a little bit, you know, you're right. There was a couple of times where maybe get over there. But for the most part, I kind of saw that snap whistle, that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, I thought he has some speed to beat that tackle to the corner.
Yeah.
I think he can turn his shoulders and get up the field. And I think he's got some good rushes against some good tackles. Kid had 9 sacks this season. I mean, and he was doubled quite a bit. You watch the Ohio State game, they knew exactly where Sorrell was there in that game. It's like everybody else, they're kind of like, okay, we're good enough. We're going to single block. Sorrell, they took opportunities. It's like guard check inside, guard look outside. And like they were making sure that they knew. He had a huge stop in the A&M game on as a run defender. And, he was the tight end. The kid tries to block him. He just dominates the kid, gets inside, hits the ball carrier, no gain, ball going to Texas the other way. So I have a feeling he's got a feeling how to make himself small to kind of shoot through gaps, get through cracks. The wrap-up tackler in space, good finish. I think he can run down plays from the inside. Like he's on the inside and the ball's going to the outside. He could get to that from the inside to the outside. Yeah. I think he's going to need to develop some more pass rush moves, but the length and the size, I think, really helps him in this regard. And I think he'll make him a valuable selection because he could kind of play those different spots you talked about, but mainly want to play him on the edges, not so much on the inside. And I remember some stuff in the Senior Bowl things where some of the tape, the one-on-ones and stuff where I watched where he looked like that his stock was kind of going up as a pass rusher. So you mentioned it, ideal size, and to me, bendy and winning against some good tackles that in college football during his schedule.
Bryan, let me tell you what I love though, and this may be why I'm hating on Jalen Walker a little bit from Georgia, is me and you describe the player. We both agree on the player, but I watched Georgia, Ole Miss, and Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Those are games I watch. So me and you watch totally different games, and we have the same vision of the player. I like that a lot. So that means good things for him, Bryan.
Right.
So I had my board pulled up here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to talk you through it.
I can see it.
I don't hate what you're saying, right? I got Sorrell right now as my early 4th round guy. What I'm kind of, dealing with or whatever is the Texas A&M
those
kids.
the A&M kids. God dang, it's every time, man.
I'm dealing with the A&M kids, man. I feel I like him much better, like you said, Landon Jackson, Arkansas, Josiah Stewart from Michigan, Jared Ivey, Tyler Barryn. I got him better than all those guys, Bryan. And now that I mentioned those games, Bryan, or mentioned those names, you're not wrong. I like him much better than all those names. He really is in this conversation up here. You don't like Birch as much, but
you like Birch from Oregon more than me because I've got Birch down. Like I would take Sorrell over Birch, but you know what? I could see where coaching matters. I could see somebody taking Birch and making him a really good player. Because the traits. I promise you, if I read my report right now, he wouldn't be a 4th round guy. He would probably be a 3rd round guy. If you just read my report on him, there's some of those guys I have to go back and I read those reports. And I'm like going, damn, what was I thinking here? But when you start to compare him to the other guys, I'm like, I like this guy better than that guy. I can't put him over Jackson, or I can't put Jackson over him. Yeah. I read Jackson's report and I'm thinking, okay, big, tall, long guy. The last thing I say is need more consistency with him. Okay. Am I going to put a player who I kind of like a little bit better over a guy that, or a player that needs more consistency? Am I going to put him over a player I like maybe a little bit better? No, I'm not going to do that. So I'll tell you what though, Voch, this edge group is starting to get a little confusing. It's starting to get a little confusing.
It is a massive group of dudes, Bryan. Let me just see how many edges we've, because I could just highlight right here and it'll just tell me how many dudes I got right here, Bryan, because I just got this thing figured out. We got 21 edges, Bryan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got
probably about 11 too many is probably what we got on that board. But them and the tackles. I mean, those, the running backs, the tackles, defensive tackles, the edges. I think they're going to be big players in this draft.
I tell you what, Bryan, I think I'm being a coward about this hold on, man. Let me just make a move right here. I'm being because I don't like Nick Scordon, but I like Barryn Sorrell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
Bryan, me and you just gonna keep dying on this hill about these A&M kids, man.
Oh no, we're gonna. There's clearly we're gonna die on the A&M hill. We're clearly gonna die on that hill.
I like Sorrell a lot, man.
I do too, and that's what I'm saying though. The A&M kids are like, stop here sign, stop, and because you're trying to think like, I can't keep putting these kids down and down and down and down, but you end up like, man, these players, the Sorrells and others are just better players. I mean, they just show up on tape.
Yep.
They're just better looking players. Yeah. They get pass rush. They're consistent. They play the run. They get off blocks. I mean, the last thing I'm going to do is go back and always talk about getting more tape, but I'm going to watch those A&M kids. Like you and I in the pre-show, we're talking about. You're like, hey, I'm like, hey, brother, how's it going? You go, man, I'm just getting on this tape. Getting games. Got Pierce, Tennessee. Going to look at got 7 games now.
Running them back. Yeah,
you got to run them back. But man, it's like, I'll tell you what is encouraging to me when I hear you talk about the same player, but we watch 3 different games.
Yep.
We watch that to me is like, okay, I didn't totally blow this one, by watching the wrong games. Because sometimes you could watch games and it's the wrong game for a player. Yeah. It's a wrong game, and then you get a very negative opinion about the player.
Jalen Walker, yeah.
You'll live,
man.
You'll die on that. You'll die on that hill.
If you watch,
and I'll be the one punching you while you're on the ground.
Boy. If you watch the wrong Jalen Walker games, boy, God forbid you ain't got access to Texas game. God forbid. Bryan, tell me a little bit about Cobee Bryant, the cornerback from Kansas, and boy, you know I love ball skills and ball hawks, man. Tell him what you think about Cobee Bryant.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you know what? I think, and let me check this to make sure, because I think there's the 2 corners at Kansas that we're having to do. Yep. Okay. I have Dotson, the other corner, Mello Dotson.
Yep.
I have him over
Likewise.
Bryant. Now, but they're in the same round, 4th round, both of them. Okay. So Cobee Bryant he's the right cornerback for the Jayhawks. Mm-hmm. Now, Mello Dotson, they're both the same height.
Yeah.
But Mello Dotson's 190 pounds and Cobee Bryant's 175. Yep. Okay. But the interesting thing about Cobee Bryant, this kid's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Now, how about that? I mean, and this kid's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, man, he's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and they like, we'll let you walk, kid. Go ahead, But this kid is a ball hawk. Yep. He is a ball hawk. He's got some skills. He's got the instincts. He's got the awareness. He's one of those type of guys that's going to be always around the ball. He can make game-changing plays with the way he goes. But I thought he was good at reading routes. I thought he was good at putting himself in position in order to make plays. I thought the movement was smooth. I think he could be a little grabby, a little handsy when carrying routes. And I wonder if that's going to get him in trouble in the National Football League, the way that they call some of these games. But he does have a way of staying in position, maintaining leverage. He appears to be a really confident. Like, I think you could probably play this kid on an island, and he's not gonna flinch. Yeah. But good focus, good concentration, athletic ability. Talked about that. The length helps him knock away passes. He's just got to he's got a feel for how to get that hand in between the receiver's hands and knock those balls away. He's a physical player down the field with these receivers. Again, a little handsy, a little grabby with that. Not afraid to tackle, but he's willing to do it. But he is a cut down guy. He tends to go low, and he likes to cut the ball carrier down more than, say, wrapping up. You'll see a wrap up or 2, but it's not. It's more like come up, cut down, throw your shoulder, throw your body, and try and make that type of play. I think he's got a slight build for the position. I'm not sure how much more weight he can really add, because I think that's who he is. Right. I think he is a 6 foot, 175 pound guy. That's what I think he is. We can bulk him up and all that. I can't tell you how many times I've heard coaches strength coaches, whatever, tell me, oh, we can bulk him up. I think this kid is who he is. And that's a good player. I mean, he's not afraid, but he's going to have to battle some bigger receivers. And, it might be a little bit different in the league for him. Solid player, not afraid. And that's what I really, really appreciate about him. But I do have his teammate, Mello Dotson, above him. I mean, they're both in the round and their tags are doing the touch thing right now.
I got Mello in the third, Bryan. I was a big fan of him. I got Cobee. Yeah. I got Cobee in the fourth, right over Zy Alexander. I love everything you said, Bryan, and he's a very confident player. I think he could be a really good man dude, but they just run a lot of zone out there. He's another.
They run a lot of zone.
Like he seems to be like another one of these long arm, lengthy characters or whatever. It's just, like his arms just look long to me, and he can jam up at the line of scrimmage or whatever. But if you're bigger than him, you'll kind of just move him around a little bit. But man, Bryan, I think our guy from Mississippi State last year really got me nervous about these slight corners.
The kid that went to went to the Commanders, right?
Emmanuel's, something like that. Mississippi State kid, whatever. But he's a guy just like the Kansas kid, just like Cobee. Got picks, Bryan. Got pass deflections. Got his hands on the football, man. But that size ended up just not boding well for him when it came to some of these bigger, some of these more, physical wide receivers, some of these crack block situations, whatever. It just wore down on him. So I like him, but I got him in the fourth. Nothing against that though. Maybe he's one of these dudes, Bryan, like that'll end up being some kind of safety guy, because I think he's really good in zone. I think he really goes and gets the football. He has a really good feel for it. Put him at free and go see. But
Emmanuel Forbes. I had to go back. I went brain dead. Sometimes these players, I remember them and then they just they go away from my head. Emmanuel Forbes. And if I remember correctly about I know I liked Emmanuel Forbes. Mm-hmm. He was 166 pounds is what we were looking at. Mm-hmm. Rail thin on tape, no bulk. He plays coverage. He's one of these guys that could drive on the ball. I mean, nose on the ball, movement skills, plays on the edge, puts himself in position. But man, he is 166 pounds, and this kid's 175. I mean, that's a difference. But I tell you what, it's kind of the same type of guy. I could see why we would get nervous about that. Those rail thin guys. But who was our guy from Clemson? Remember
Wiggins.
Wiggins with Wiggins was a rail thin guy. Yeah.
He can run though. He can
run. He can run.
I think that's the difference. Yeah. Man, Bryan, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I had our guy Jonah Monahan from USC, the center. I had him in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryan, I had to bump him down to the 6th. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay. You can put them both in the 5th. Put them both in the 5th.
I had to bump them down to the 6th. Because this kid, Jared Wilson, belongs in the 5th. He's a little better than Monahan. He's a little better. But he belongs in the 5th. Now, Bryan, I saw some uninspiring games from him. I saw him versus Texas. I saw Ole Miss, and once again, I saw Kentucky. Now he was solid at Kentucky, but I just think Deion was being a little lazy.
How did you get Walker? Was Walker taking the day off on him?
Deion was brother-in-law him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that good day came from. But the majority of his reps, Bryan, I just wasn't inspired by his play.
Yeah,
I didn't see a bunch of power from him. He seemed to be a guy that would catch a lot. He stands up pretty high in the stance. I will say, when he's pass blocking, he doesn't get bull rushed as easily as Monahan.
That's where I was going to kind of go with that. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't think he'll get bullied as much pass blocking, but if he's run blocking, I don't see him moving anybody. And Bryan, you hate this. He'll end up on the ground, won't he?
He will.
He'll end up on the ground. So yeah, man. Wilson. I don't know why PFF got him all high like that, but. I got him in the 5th, but I like him much more than Monahan, so that's why Monahan's in the 6th.
Yeah, I think Monahan is a 5th round guy. I put Wilson Wilson has only started at center for 1 year, so he's probably pretty inexperienced. But like
Van
I said,
Pran was there last year. Said Van Pran was there last year.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think there is some upper body power to his game. I think there's some pop to his hands, but he doesn't sustain anybody. I mean, it's like jam, and he just kind of like, now he's drifting. Now he's trying to find somebody, or he's trying to get his guy, or he's disconnected from the guy. And like I said, it's like he gets into his guy, then 2 steps later he's into chase mode. And I think the more you play this guy in space, the more problems he has. Yeah. And where he could be really good is, like you said, when the man rushes down the middle, he's able to handle the power. He's just kind of able to handle that power. Yeah. But there's some snaps where he struggles. I thought the biggest problem with him were his awareness. There'll be twist games, stunts, things, linebackers, and he just doesn't see it. I mean, and then he's turning to like, oh, damn, there's some things where he got a little lost on some of these plays, and guys will just run right by him. And I thought that he really, really struggled. Maybe it's the inexperience. Maybe it's just the 1 year. But man, I mean, I don't see a really long arm guy. So sometimes he gets broken down some that way. You see him get pushed. You see him get pulled out of his stance. The experience, I just don't see a starter right off the jump.
No,
I just don't see. Now, I could see somebody taking this kid, and he's out of 10 offensive linemen, he's the 9th guy or the 10th guy, or maybe even the practice squad guy.
Sure.
I just not see that Georgia coming off the ball, hammering people, sitting down, knee bend. I saw a guy that was kind of always chasing.
Yep.
He was always chasing his guy, and that bothered me. So I think you got him right there. I still haven't seen a center that I'll be interested to see. Did you mention, or was on another platform, that Bo from Purdue might be a center?
Yes, sir. I think he could be a tackle or a center. I wouldn't put him at guard personally because I don't think he's big and strong. But I think he could play tackle and center. Yes, sir. I think he'd be great at center.
I think I might move him over to center because I think you're right about the guard stuff. At 300, I think he's going to be probably 305 pounds.
Yeah, real light.
He's really good athlete though.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to coach him up as a center.
Sure.
So that's a good plan. I like what you're doing there, because I'm finding out here I've seen a couple of centers, and both of them been just not very good, or poor for what we've seen over the last 2-3 years. Yeah. That kind of thing.
We'll try to find some more, Bryan, as I pull up me and your text threads here. I'm just prepping everybody for the next 4, and we're gonna do this on Valentine's Day. We working on Valentine's Day, or we got stuff to do?
You know what? You make the call there.
I know what that means. You don't want to let me down. You don't want to make the decision. you don't want to make the decision. We both have ladies in our life that sure. So I will say, you have dinner plans? You have something going on? Or are you doing it Saturday? What are you doing? Bryan, I'm so last minute. I'm not gonna know until the midnight of the 13th. I'm not gonna know till the day before because I'm very last minute. But let's do this. Let's do
this. What are you doing Saturday morning? Do you got stuff going on Saturday morning?
Yes, sir. I'm always doing something Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
I got you. Okay, then let's not worry about it.
All right, cool. Then we'll come back tomorrow then and knock these last.
Okay,
4.
you and I. Okay, I'll take this. We could do this though. We got draft show though. We got draft show tomorrow because we're going to talk about the draft show.
We do.
So yeah, we probably need to take care of other people in our lives on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But I would, if you want to go, we'll go. If not, I totally understand.
I wouldn't do you like that, man. I'm not that bad of an employer, So I'm not gonna do you like that, bro.
Here you and I are having this discussion. We probably should have this off air, but here we are.
Don't worry about it. People like when they get get the behind the scenes.
Get to know us a little bit. Yeah.
But
yeah, whatever. You just tell me. You tell me after you figure out your plans.
Thursday we breaking down some players. We're gonna take Friday off. So the next 4 guys, Bryan, We're gonna do these for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
Jalen Rivers from Miami. Elijah Roberts, the edge from SMU. People really bothering the hell out of me about him.
People, yeah, they're talking. Wolchuk brought him up today on the radio.
I don't know where people find out all this stuff at the same time and start bothering me about it, but we're gonna watch him. And he was on the list already, so it ain't like I'm acquiescing to y'all.
Yeah, no. You had him on the list.
Brashard Smith, the running back from SMU, 2 SMU players, probably
Pony
Texas,
up,
probably Texas thing. And Noel Williams, he's another guy that people kind of been tapping.
I've heard, somebody was like saying Noel Williams is the truth. I was hearing that from people.
Yeah. So Brian, we'll see.
Savant's is going to go, Noel Williams, got him in the 5th round.
Got him in the 9th. Whatever you're talking about, he the truth.
Priority free agent. But
I was pleasantly surprised that Barryn Sorrell climbed up my boards here, Brian.
He did. He got in the mix.
But y'all can go in the comments and let us know what y'all thought about what we had to say today, and y'all give us your assessment on the players that we talked about here. Y'all tap in with me, VOCHLOMB because I'm trying to get paid on Twitter. And BRY again, Broaddus. Y'all be sure to tap in with him. Don't look for us on Friday. We got things to do. Y'all should as well. But we're gonna break down these players tomorrow. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.